Listeners, today I'm going to create the VLAN configuration. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Roles de Paneda Jr. from BSIT 3A. And now let's open our Cisco. Demonstration, lemon, lemons, demonstration of VLAN with from port. And our surname, meta, black, 8. And let's see. So now let's see the hard copy of my activity, hard copy photo. So according to the activity, there are two buildings. These two buildings consist of three departments, which are the HM, the CIT, and the KABA. And now, um, in creating this, we must need to input first the two switches. So we're gonna input two switches here. We're gonna rename this to S1, which means the switch 1, and the S2 means switch 2. So that's it. And now, based on the given activity, if we added all the end devices or the devices that is listed down here in the activity, it will equals to 34 PCs that is used. I mean, 33 laptops and one PC. And now let's add the end devices and let's categorize it. So first, to add one PC, wait, let me remove this. So let's add, which according to the building one in the HM department, there are three laptops and one PC. It equals to four end devices. So we need to put three laptops and one PC. So try to um, don't need to configure. And next is the CIT. CIT consists of seven laptops. So we're gonna import or put seven laptops. So next is the Kaba. Kaba consists of six laptops. So we're gonna input some six laptops. So now let's connect these end devices to the switch. So first we need to use copper straight through. This is the first internet 0 and connect to plus internet 1 plus internet 0 plus internet 2 So let's use 3 and let's use 4. So now we must leave two spaces or two ports, like two extra ports for an emergency like that. So if I'm gonna connect this, so let me finish first. So as you can see, I will use the port 7 instead of 6, just like what I've said before. We need to leave one or two um, port space, a space ports for emergencies. 9, 10, 11, 13. So now we need to leave two spaces. So if we gonna add the port of the next device or the next VLAN, gonna use the port or fast internet port 16. So that's it. Let's continue. So PC. So in the VLAN or in the VLAN 10 in the HM, it uses 1 to 6 ports. So next is the HM, which uses the s- um, 7 to 15 port, and next is the Kaba department, um, which uses 16 to 21 port. So let's apply this to the switch number 2. So according to the given activity, there are 5 laptops that is assigned in the HM. So let's put 5 laptops here. And next is the CIT, which uses 8 laptops. So next is the Kaba in building 2. So they only use it for laptops. So that. So that's it. Let's connect the um, the end devices in the switch. So fast internet one, um, for that fast internet one, gonna use the fast internet two, the fast internet three, and fast internet four, and fast internet five. So just like what I tell or explained before, we need to leave one or two ports um in the one VLAN because for emergencies. So there's another thing I've discussed or I mentioned before that the VLAN of HM uses the port 1 to 6. So we've used 1 to 5 ports in the switch 2 or in the building 2. So let's see. Gonna use the ports, the fast internet 7. We're gonna start in the fast internet 7 in the CIT department. Level 12, between and 14. So we need to leave one port because I just like I said, I mentioned before that the VLAN of CIT is ranges to 7 to 15. So we leave the fast internet 15 port. So in this on the Kaba, gonna use the fast internet 16, 18, and 19. So now um, let's let's do the IP configuration for each and devices. So let's start in the building number one in the HM department. So let's use our basis or our hard copy. So according in the uh, copy that I've written, the PC1 will use the 10.0.1.2. And now the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. So let's just copy it, the subnet mask. So why did I start in second IP address that is in um, the HM department? So I chose the second IP address because the Z, for example, in HM, because the 10.0.1.1 are the gateway address. So that is assigned for the gateway address. So we're gonna use instead the second IP address, which is the 10.0.1.2. So see, let's exit that. move on in the balikan to. Hindi na. So let's move on to top number two, IP configuration, which according to our um, copy, the IP address will be 10.0.1.3. So the subnet mask will be the same as the first one. So that's it. Um, IP configuration, same as what we did before. PC2, 10.0.1.4 for the PC3. And now, let's configure the PC5. It's gonna be 10.0.1.5. The subnet mask will be the same. That's it. Let's double check. I forgot to add the subnet mask for the PC3. So now, I'm gonna move this in the second monitor. Then, configuration. So, uh, that's it. Double check. So we are correct in IP configuration in the HM department in the building number one or in the switch one. So now let's move on to the CIT department. So the CIT department consists of 7 laptops. So now let's configure it. Click, IP configuration. Um, I start just like what I've said before. We need to start in the second assign address instead on what is the first usable IP address because that is used for the gateway or the default gateway 0.2. So that's why I've put the second IP address of the CIT that is assigned in the CIT instead of 172.16.0.2. So I've used the in the PC number 6. I mean in the PC number 5, I've used the 172.16.0.2. So let's move on the PC number 6 desktop 172.16.0.3. Um, the subnet mask will be 255 the 255 the 255.0. So same as the other ones. So save it. We are done. Config, stop configuration, and now let's move on in PC number 7. So it's gonna be 100. The IP address is gonna be 172.16.0.4. So the subnet mask will be the same. It's gonna be 255, the 255, the 255.0. So next is the IP configuration for PC number 8. It's gonna be 172.16.0.5. 155 You know, so just paste it, 55, and that's it for the PC number 8. And now move on to PC number 9. Let's start the IP configuration. It's gonna be 172.16.0.6. Number 9, if I'm home. So the 255, the 255, the 255, that's 0 for the subnet mask. Same as the other ones. So next, config, desktop configuration. So it's gonna move on to PC number 10. It's gonna be IP address. It's gonna be 172.16.0.7. So the subnet mask will be the same as the other ones. And that's it. We move on in PC 11. So IP configuration. It's gonna be 172.16.0.8. So let's double check. So the subnet mask will be 255, the 255, the 255. So that's it for the CIT department in building number 1. So before moving on, let's double check. And IP configuration, oh, configuration, configuration, 5, 7, and 8. So that's it for the double checking. So let's move on in the Kaba department. So Kaba department has 6 laptops or end devices. So let's start to configure it. So let's try to make it upper. So in PC number 12, the IP address of it's gonna be 192.168.2.2. So the subnet mask gonna be 255 to 255. So that is correct. No need to paste the what I've copied before. So subnet mask is already correct. So let's move on PC number 13. Config, IP configuration. It's gonna be 192.168 dot um dot 2.3. So let's double check what I've entered for 722, correct? Configuration 2.3. So let's move on in PC number 13. So I reconfigure it. 192.168.2.4. So the subnet mask. It next is the PC number 15. So it's gonna be 192.168.2.2.3.4.5. Subnet mask. Well, it's gonna be 255, the 255, the 255, that's 0. Let's move on. Let's go to desktop IP configuration. Same process. Add the 192.168.2.3 dot 5. So I it's already, sorry for that, 192 dot 168 dot 2 dot 6. So that's it. Sorry for the error. Next is the desktop, the last PC of in the building number one, which is the PC 17. It's gonna be 192.168.11, I dot 2, sorry for that, dot 7. So the subnet mask will be 255, the 255.0. So let's exit. So, so let's move on in the second building or the second switch in the HM Vlan. So now let's put. So let's continue what we have um, continue the HM. So the last IP that we use is 10.0.1.5. So we're gonna continue in here in the second second switch in the HM VLAN. So it's gonna be 192 and 10.0.1.6. So let's paste the subnet mask again. Okay, so that's 108, 255, 255.0. So let's copy it. The next PC, the PC 19, let's use it. Okay, sorry for that. It's gonna be 10.0.1.7. And the gate subnet mask will be 255, same as the one 255, the 255, the 255.0. So now let's move on PC 18. Configuration. So now it's gonna be IP address gonna be 10.0.1.8. So subnet mask would be the same. This is the other one. 6, 7, 8. Desktop IP configuration. So next is IP address of the PC number 21 is gonna be 10, 10.0.1.9. So the subnet mask, that's what I've said. And this is the same as before. It's gonna be 255, the 255, the 255.0. So the last end device for the HM department in building 2 or in the switch 2. Now let's go to IP configuration. It's gonna be 192, 10.0.1.10. So the IP address, I mean the subnet mask will be the same. So that's it for the HM department. So let's double check. 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is correct. So now Let's move on in the CIT department in the switch 2. So let's see this. So this is gonna be the PC23. Let's go to IP configuration. Let's put the IP address. The IP address is gonna be 172.16.0.9. So double check. Since we will continue what we have left here, the 172.16.0.8, we're gonna continue here in the um, switch 2 for the end devices in IP configuration. So that is why I've put the IP address 172.16.0.9 in PC number 23. So proceed, IP configuration. Let's put the next IP address for PC number 24. Gonna be 172.16.0.10. The subnet mask gonna be same. Gonna be 255.255.255.0. So next is the PC 25 configuration. Gonna be 172.16.0.11. Subnet mask. Save. Then gonna be 11 here. It's gonna be 100 in PC number 25. I'm gonna use the 172. I mean in PC number 26. I'm gonna use the 172.16.0.12 for the IP address. And same as the other one, we're gonna use the 255, the 255, the 255.0 for the subnet mask. So next is the PC number 27. So IP configuration is gonna be the IP address for the PC 27 is 172.16.0.13. So submask gonna be the same as the other one. Let's move on PC number 29. I mean PC number 28. The configuration will be 172.16.0.14. That's 55. Yes, same I subnet mask. So the IP for the PC number 29 is gonna be 172.16.0.15. Subnet mask, same as the other one. 15. So the last one in the CIT department, type configuration will be 172.16.0.16. So the subnet mask will be the same. May gonna be 255 to 255.0. So now in the last part in the Java department, so you will assign scenes therefore. So let's continue. Desktop IP configuration. So the last part that we've entered is 192.168.2.7. So let's continue it. It's gonna be 192.168.2.8. So same subject mass. Sit. Next, it's gonna be 192.168.2.9 for the IP address of PC number 30, 32. Same subnet mask, correct? 192.168.2.10 for the PC number 33. So the subnet mask. And lastly, the PC number 34, the desktop will be, the IP address will be 192.168.2.11. So the subject mask, that's it. We are finished in configuring the end devices that is used in the VLANs. So now let's double check first. The A, 2, and 11. So we're correct. And now let's um, put security measures in our switches. So let's go to the switch number one and go to CLI or the command line interface. So let's enter and click type enable and put configure terminal. And now um, let's rename our switch to hostname S1. So the switch is gonna be S1, the name. So now let's enable secret Cisco and no IP domain lookup. And let's make a banner MOTD um, unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. And let's enter and put the line console 0 and let's set the password to Cisco 123 and click login or type login and then exit and line VTY 04 and let's set the password to password Cisco 123. So I put the same password just like in the last time, so cannot be we can remember it. So login, then exit, then exit, sorry for that, exit, and then exit. So gonna go back in the um in the interface, but we need to input first the password. So the password will be, let's try Cisco.123 So now we entered. We can see that we entered the password um, if it's working. Cisco. So now the security measures in switch number one is working. So let's let's try to apply it in switch number two. So to CLI, same process. Um, Try for that. So enable. Let's use the shortcut confetti, and then let's set the host name for S2, just like in the S1. But instead we use 2. So enable secret Cisco, no domain look up. And I know, sorry for that. No IP domain look up. Ay, no IP domain look up. So now let's move on. Let's make a banner, MOTD, and hashtag unauthorized access is strictly prohibited. And a and with hashtag. And now let's move on in line console. That's zero. Oh, and let's set the password to Cisco 123 and login. And then like we will put in the login and we will exit and go back in the line VTY 04, and let's set the password to Cisco 123, same process as the number one or the switch one, and let's put it to login, and then we will exit so we can try if the security measures that we've added is working. So now this is the part. We're gonna put the Cisco 123. So, balik tayo doon. Cisco 123. And now, we've entered. And if we enable, we will enter another password. So, the password is, or the secret, um, enable secret is Cisco. So, now, we can configure the terminal. So, let's go back in the switch number one. So we're done with security measures. So let's create or do the VLAN configuration now. So first, let's go back to the switch number one and CLI. Let's enable. Okay, I already enable it. Config terminal. And now let's exit and let's show the VLAN brief. So as you can see here, there's no indication like on VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30 that has name of HM, CIT, and GABA. And now let's do or let's rename that part. So in the first part, you will exit here. Now we can just use this config T, and now VLAN 10, and let's name it to HM. Let's try to exit to check if it works. Exit. Um, Show VLAN brief. So as we can see here, we already added the VLAN 10, which which for the HM. So next is, so let's get my copy. Let's double check. VLAN HM CIP Kappa. So let's show it in the screen. So VLAN 10, VLAN 20, and VLAN 34 Kaba. So next, config, config, ay, config T, configure terminal, and now let's rename our VLAN, VLAN 20, name, um, CIT, and exit. Let's check. So VLAN brief. So as we can see here, we already implemented the VLAN 20 for CIT, which is named for CIT. And lastly, we will add the Kaba department. So configure terminal, and then let's type VLAN 30 and enter. Let's rename our name our VLAN to Kaba. Now, let's exit, and check if it's already in the, as we can see here, we added the VLAN 30 Kaba. And now, let's do this to the, let's do this to the switch number 2. So, same process, VLAN config T, and let's rename VLAN 10 to main HM. Let's exit, let's check if already show VLAN brief. So that's it. We already added. So now let's add another config key. Then VLAN 20, VLAN, no, name, let's rename to CIT, and exit, and then exit. So we can show if already. So as we can see here, we already added the CIT. And now let's move on in the naming on VLAN 30 config And then let's do the config terminal and then let's try VLAN 30 and name our VLAN 30 to Kaba. Let's exit and exit. So VLAN 3. So as we can see here, we already added the HMCIT Kaba in the VLAN, or we created a VLAN that name HMCIT Kaba, same as in the switch. So now, let's move on in creating or assigning the interface range per VLAN. So first we will go to switch number one to CLI, and now let's type the config terminal um, interface range FA 0 1 2 6. That's what I've been mentioning before when I'm creating this part na it ranges. For example, in VLAN number or in the VLAN HM or in the VLAN 10, it uses 1 to 6 ports, while in the HM, I mean in the HM, it uses 1 to 6 port. In the CIT, it uses 7 to 15 port. And lastly, the Kaba, it uses 16 to 21 port. So that's what I've been telling. So this is the reason, or this is why I've been typing FA0126. So enter. So let's switch mode, access. Switch port, access, VLAN 10. Ay, mali. Sorry for that. Switch port, access, VLAN 10. So next, let's exit, exit, show VLAN brief, show VLAN brief. Hmm, sorry for that. Config. E, exit, show VLAN brief. So as we can see here, we already assigned the VLAN 10 or the HM to for fast internet 1 to fast internet 6. That's what I've been mentioning before. So let's move on um in the CIT. So now let's config T. Let's use a shortcut, and now interface range, which will go to 0 7 to 15 port, fast internet port. Now switch mode, access, switch port, access, VLAN 20. So exit, exit, show VLAN brief to check if all are just like in the HM, if we already assigned the ports. So let's click enter. So as you can see here, we assigned the VLAN to fast internet 7 to fast internet 15. Am I correct? And let's double check. Was internet in. So correct. So let's go back to the command line interface. Now let's assign the Kaba VLAN into the 16 to 21 port. So let's config terminal, um, interface range to fast internet 0 to 16 to 21 port. And now switch mode access, switch port access, VLAN 30. Sorry for that. Switch port access, VLAN 30. So let's exit and see. And now show VLAN brief. So as we can see here, we already assigned the fast internet 16 to fast internet 1 to 21 into the Kava VLAN. So that's it um, for the switch 1. So let's move on to the switch 2. So same process. Can I that's the config terminal, the interface range FA the fast internet 0 to 1 to 6 and switch port and switch mode access the enter switch port access VLAN 10 I switch port access VLAN 10. So let's check if it's already applied. Show VLAN brief. So as you can see here, just like in the switch 1, we already assigned the fast internet 1 to fast internet 6 in the HM department. So next, the CIT, config terminal. Um, Next is the interface change. Interface range, I mean, the fast internet 0 to 7 to 15 port and switch mode access and the switch port access VLAN 20. So let's exit, double check, show VLAN brief. So as we can see here, we already assigned, just like in the first example, we already assigned the fast internet 7 to fast internet 15 in the CIT department. So let's move on. Now, um, let's do the Kaba. Let's configure interface range FA or the fast internet 0 to 16 to 21. Right? Interface range range FA 0 16 to 21 and VLAN 30. No, sorry for that. Switch mode access, switch port access, VLAN 30. So let's check exit, exit, and show VLAN 3. So as you can see here, we've already assigned the VLAN 16 to 21. And now we're done. So let's move on connecting both the switches. So let's start. So in this connection, we need to use the copper crossover in connecting these two switches. So in connecting these two switches, we need to use the last internet port, which is the fast internet port or the fast internet 24. So same as the other one, let's connect in the 24 port. And next is configuring the the connection or the switch. So let's wait to connect this between two. So we already connect. So gonna start um the configuring config terminal interface range FA 0 to 24 port switch mode trunk mode switch switch port trunk allowed VLAN 1 to 99. So let's exit, and then exit. So that's it. That's the security measures that we created before. So let's check if the connection is working. I sorry for that. I forgot to check the 32. I mean the second switch there. Um, config T. So interface range FA0 to 24, right? Switch mode trunk, switch port trunk, switch port trunk, allowed VLAN 1 to 99, exit, exit, exit. So that's like what I've said before, that this is the security measures. If we exit the CLI, we need to first enter the password. So as we can see here, that is already working. So we need to try to add the circle for indication. So fill color outline, I'm gonna use light blue for the HM. And then green for the CIT as we're green flag. Charo. So pink for the Kaba. So next is the simulation of the ports or this VLAN configuration. Let's see if it's working. So let's edit first the filters into, let's only put the ISMP. So that's it. So first part, let's put mail that will go in the HM PC, and then PC 28. Next, the PC, uh, the end devices in the second switch. And now, let's try to work. So the first one is successful. So the second one is successful. So the third one is successful. So that's it. As you can see, the VLAN configuration that I've done is working and correctly. So that's it. Thank you, sir, for listening. So see you again.